Welcome back to a segment we don't really have a name for, but I'm sure we'll come up with one in the next week. We covered two movies that Abby St. John has watched to start off your Halloween experience over the course of October. The next one is a dear one to you because it's one of the first Stephen King books you read, and it's obviously a very classic one in the history of horror for not only when it came out in 1976, but it spawned the careers of director Brian De Palma and the main actress, Oscar nominee Sissy Spacek.
Spacek, yeah. Carrie was the first novel that I read by Stephen King, and then I immediately watched the movie afterwards. So here is a clip from Carrie.
If you don't have a date for the prom next Friday, would you like to go with me?
She's with the best-looking boy in the senior class.
He's trying to trick me again.
She'll be voted queen of the prom.
You know, I can make sure that you don't hurt Carrie White anymore.
For Carrie, it will be a dream come true. For everyone else, it will be a nightmare. Carrie.
So as Carrie is portrayed, that scene, that prom scene is very iconic with the blood spilling on her, but the outcome of it was not expected by the bullies, where she has telekinesis powers, which she uses to eventually kill her entire class and everyone at the prom. So this movie is very horror. It's aged very well, I believe, because it has that thing that not a whole lot of movies have. You know, a teenage girl who is brutally bullied every single day of her life. She has an overbearing, over-Christian mother who doesn't let her do anything. And then she has telekinesis. So she's using that to, I guess, her almost advantage, but as a revenge tool.
Yeah, it's one of the first, I think, really famous revenge-style horror movies. Obviously, you can see plenty of even television shows that have not necessarily taken the plot of Carrie, although many have taken the plot of Carrie, but also plenty of shows, and even something like Riverdale. They've kind of taken some of the aesthetic of what Carrie looked like, as you saw with the blood scene. That has been parodied and put into many other things over the years.
Yes, like Riverdale, they did have a musical episode using Carrie and turning it into a musical. So it's been referenced many times in pop culture, in different movies, TV shows, and there was a remake with Chloe Grace Moretz. In my opinion, it wasn't as good as the original, because I think the original is just such a classic that I believe has aged so well over time, and you can still go back and watch it, and it has that still creepy horror element to it.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about the Disney remake strategy that Disney's taken in recent years. I think it applies here, where people kind of underestimate how effective movies can still be from the 70s, 80s, even if there's just a slight tweak in them.
Exactly, yeah. So as I've only watched 3 movies so far, we're going to be jumping into The Joker as opening this weekend, and it spun a lot of controversy. So here's a clip from The Joker.
To your fear and sorrow, smile, and maybe tomorrow
What's so funny? Freak!
Now with the trailer, just the trailer, it definitely gives that very unsettling feeling. I think that's what they were going for. And it's you can see that there are a lot of elements of violence in it. So the controversy wrapped around it is coming from, I guess, the past with The Dark Knight and what happened. And so definitely adding more security at theaters is what, especially down in the States, are looking to.
And that's certainly, when you see some of the news about copycats, I can understand the concern certainly with that. One thing that we haven't talked about yet with this controversy is the fact that there's almost been the media reaction has almost sort of hyped up the controversy itself, because these articles that are talking about the nature of the movie and also what people will think about the movie, most of them were written before people had even seen the movie. So there's been this buildup of 2 months basically heading into its release.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I seen headline after headline of saying this is what you need to read before seeing, or what you need to know before seeing The Joker, adding that it has a heavy amount of violence and ensued of riots.
Indeed, and we'll have to see, as you said in one of the previous segments, when we see the public reaction, I'm curious if it mirrors things that critics have said, or if the public reacts to the movie differently, whether that's a good or a bad thing. So coming up, Abby will be back with another quick panel interview, and then we'll wrap up the show from there.